Conformity to social roles. Zimbardo's Stanford Prison Experiment. Procedure and findings. Procedure of Zimbardo's Stanford Prison Experiment. Participants. 24 emotionally stable male volunteers were selected from a larger pool of applicants who responded to a newspaper advert. They were screened for psychological health. Random assignment. Participants were randomly assigned to the role of either prisoner or guard. Setting. A mock prison was set up in the basement of Stanford University's Psychology Department. Prisoners were arrested at home by real police and taken to the mock prison. Stripped, deloused, given uniforms and assigned ID numbers. Had limited rights, scheduled meals, toilet visits, and supervised time outdoors. Guards wore khaki uniforms, reflective sunglasses to prevent eye contact, and carried batons. Had complete control over the prisoners' daily routines. Duration. The study was planned to last 2 weeks, but was terminated after 6 days due to ethical concerns. Findings of the experiment. Rapid role internalization. Both guards and prisoners quickly adopted their roles. Guards became increasingly abusive, humiliating and harassing prisoners. Prisoner reactions. Some prisoners showed signs of severe emotional distress, crying, and becoming withdrawn. One prisoner was released on day 2 due to extreme psychological disturbance. Others showed signs of learned helplessness and passivity. Dendividuation. Uniforms and identification numbers led to a loss of personal identity, especially in prisoners. Loss of morality. Even Zimbardo, acting as the prison superintendent, became too involved and failed to stop the abuse early. Conclusion. The study demonstrated the power of situational factors and social roles in shaping behavior. Ordinary people can conform to roles of authority or submission when placed in a dehumanizing environment. Strengths and limitations. Strengths of Zimbardo's study. High control over variables. The study was a lab experiment, meaning Zimbardo had control over variables, such as participant selection and role allocation. This increased internal validity, as changes in behavior can more confidently be attributed to the social roles rather than individual differences. Realism of the situation. High mundane realism. Prisoners were arrested at home by real police, which enhanced realism. Participants reported feeling that the situation was real, increasing the psychological realism of the study. Practical applications. The findings have been used to understand real-world abuses, such as those at Abu Ghraib prison, showing how institutional settings can lead to brutal behavior. The study has contributed to reforms in prison policies and raised awareness of ethical guidelines in psychological research. Limitations of Zimbardo's study. Lack of informed consent and right to withdraw. Participants were not fully informed about what would happen being arrested at home. Although they were told they could withdraw, in practice this was discouraged. Zimbardo acted as superintendent and persuaded prisoners to stay. Ethical issues. Participants experienced psychological harm, including emotional breakdowns and humiliation. The study was ended early, after 6 days, due to the extreme stress some participants experienced, suggesting poor ethical oversight. Demand characteristics. Critics argue that participants may have simply been acting in line with stereotypes, guards imitating prison movies, meaning behavior might not reflect genuine conformity. This threatens the ecological validity of the findings. Lack of generalizability. The study only used male, American college students, meaning results may not apply to women or other cultures. The artificial prison setting may not reflect real-life prisons or wider societal roles. Zimbardo's dual role. Zimbardo was both researcher and prison superintendent, creating a conflict of interest. This dual role may have impaired his objectivity and ethical responsibility, as he did not intervene early enough to stop the harm.